Okay, so you are in Mr. CoderreScience 10 class, period 1. Class starts 8:35. Please be here at 8:34. Okay, ready to go. If you are arriving after 8:35, you will find the door in the closed position. That means you're not welcome in here yet. Okay, and wait outside until I can find a time where it's not an interruption to everybody else to let you in. Okay, so please make sure that you are on time for class so that you're not interrupting everybody else. Okay, so important things here, guys, for class. First off, attendance. If you are not here, you are missing valuable material. And while I have resources available to help replicate what goes on in the classroom, it doesn't do a perfect job of it. Being here is the most important thing you can do for yourself in terms of being successful in Science 10. Okay, if you are missing a lot of class, okay, that's going to affect you negatively. I'm just putting that out there. Okay, you can't be, if you're missing more than 10 classes, you're going to start to see the effect of that on your grades. Okay, we've actually sat down a couple of times and done the math on it, actually done the statistics on it, okay? And it's actually a fairly significant correlation. People with more than 10 absences do significantly worse than what they should do, okay, or their comparison classmates. So we want to make sure that we're here, okay? If you are absent, you are responsible for any material you miss, including labs, assignments, and projects, okay? You can use my podcasts, which I'm recording right now, okay? You can use those as well as Google Classroom to stay up to date with what's going on. Okay, so we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Okay, we just talked about lates. Okay, back to number 1 here. Okay, what you're responsible for. Okay, every day I will post on Google Classroom what we've done. Okay, that will be the recording of what we have done. I post that on YouTube every day. Okay, so what we've done in class gets recorded, okay, and posted on YouTube. You can watch it, listen to it if you are not here, or if you were here and you just need clarification, okay, you can do that. And obviously, I will post any other things that you need on Google Classroom as well. If you missed a lab, okay, I will have a recording of the lab. I will have the observations, sometimes video, sometimes just in a document for you to do so that you can do the lab report as well. Okay, but just know that not being here for the lab doesn't mean you get out of doing it, okay, or whatever assignment or whatever we did that day. You are responsible for still getting it done, even if you weren't here the day it was done. Okay, the same goes for when things are due. Okay, if a lab is due, okay, I take in basically everything through Google Classroom, like a few tiny exceptions. Okay, basically everything is handed in through Google Classroom. If you're sick at home, you can still hit the submit button and get that in on time, okay? And that would be the expectation, right? Unless you've been like comatose for a week, okay? The expectation is that you would be able to hand that in on time like everybody else, okay? And I say that that's possible because I once had a student take my physics 20 class from Belgium, and he was able to get everything in on time. He took it for like 4 months from another place in the world, and he still managed to have everything on time with a 6-hour time difference. Now, he's an exceptional student, but I'm saying it can be done. Okay? All right. To do with lates, okay? Class begins when the bell goes. If you're late, okay, you're not in the room when the bell goes. Lates are an interruption to the class and the learning of others, okay? And they show a lack of respect for your classmates and your teacher. If you're late, please wait in the hall. I have a window, okay? I'll be able to see that you're out there. You don't need to wave or make faces at anybody. I'll see that you're out there and I'll come get you, okay, at an appropriate time. Okay, the resources that are available to you, okay? We have a Google Classroom, okay? I'll give you the join code here in just a minute, okay? That'll assist you and your parents with review and due dates, okay? Using Google Classroom, you can find out when your assignments and labs are due, get important announcements, access all my lessons, extra copies of pictures, handouts, notes, all of that kind of stuff. It's all on there, okay? Make sure you make use of that resource so you don't miss things that are important, okay? Now, let's actually do this right now. Let's have everybody take out your phone. Okay, so once you're into Google Classroom, you'll see that I've posted some stuff already. Okay, all of the resources that are on Google Classroom that you will need are in the classwork tab. Okay, so if you click on that, okay, you'll see that there are workbooks. Okay, they're just Google Docs, but they are specified to you. Okay. Once they finally load. It takes a little while. But they're there, I promise you. Okay. And then the notes packages are also there. Okay, can you guys see them in yours? I don't know why they're not loading on mine, but they should be there. Are they showing up for you? They're not? Okay, I'll double check here. Okay, so they'll be organized. They'll have your name on them. Well, there's one for chemistry, there's one for biology, there's one for physics, and there's one for global systems and energy. Okay, that's your notes. We don't have a textbook. Okay, because the textbook's crap. Everyone uses it. Okay, so that's your notes there. Okay, your choice how you handle those. Okay, some people really like to have paper in front of them and be able to scribble on the notes package and whatever. So if that's you, then go home and print them. But don't print them in color. Okay? Because by the time you've printed all the workbooks and all the notes packages, you're going to have printed over 100 pages in color, and then you're going to be going and getting your ink cartridge filled up or buying a new printer, whichever's cheaper. Sometimes it's cheaper than just buying a printer. Okay, and that's just, I don't want you to have to do that. Okay, print them in black and white, and it'll be easier that way, because you can always refer to the color versions electronically. Now, I have had a number of people who just have the notes open on their phone all the time, and they're adjusting and adding to them. It is your file. You can edit that file in Google Docs if you want, and I'm fully comfortable with you doing that. Okay, I have no problem with your phone being out in my class, because I'm assuming, hopefully, that you are using it for the appropriate purpose. Okay, and that is that you're adding to the notes package or making whatever adjustments you need to make, adding things in. Okay, I'm fine with you to do that, or if you have a tablet or a laptop that you want to do that on, I'm fine with that as well. Whatever works for you, you do. Okay, the notes packages are available there for you to use. Okay? Make sure you have them somewhere, as you'll need them. Okay, and same goes for the workbooks. You don't necessarily have to print the workbook. I wouldn't. Okay, if I'm going to have you working out of it, I'll just say we're on page 3 of the workbook. Call it up on your phone and just have it there. Okay, and you can do the questions from there. Save some trees. Okay, do it that way. Okay, and then obviously the course syllabus. Okay, the formula sheet. Okay, that kind of stuff is also on there. Okay, so you have a copy of the course syllabus, so you don't need to print that. Okay, and the formula sheet and periodic table I will actually give you today as well. That's not something you need to print. Okay, but if you lose yours, then you will. Okay, so all of that stuff, everything you will need for the course is in the classwork tab, and obviously that's all our labs and assignments and things like that will end up as well as we go along. Okay. Okay, the other thing you're going to need to do is, with your phone, if you can go to YouTube, okay, and find my YouTube channel, okay, that would be CoderreScience. So, okay, so if you go there, okay, that's where you're going to find all of the class recordings. Now, obviously, I will link them each day in Google Classroom. You don't necessarily have to go here to get them. Okay, I'll post them on Google Classroom each day. Okay, but that's what it will look like if you go there looking for my recorded lessons. Okay, and they are going to be organized by unit. Okay, so it'll look like this until later today when I edit these playlists, so there's nothing in them because those are obviously last semester's lessons. Okay, and I will do them fresh again this semester, but just so that they weren't empty, you could see them. Okay, so that's what it'll look like. Okay, all the videos are there. Okay, if you go to videos though, it'll take you a lot longer because I do physics 20 as well as science 10 all on the same channel. Okay, so it gets a little bit crazy beyond that. Okay, so those are the resources that are available to you. Okay, or some of the resources. Okay, so make sure you have those. Okay, so like I said, each day I'll post the day's activity, a link to the day's podcast, developments, and notes on Google Classroom. In the post, I may also include links to lab data in case you are absent or lose yours. Okay, use this resource to its fullest potential. Okay, and obviously we've done the join code already. Okay, by using the above resources, if you are absent, you should always return to class caught up with your classmates. Okay, because of the effort involved in making all that material available, I expect you to be responsible for your material. I never want to be asked, Mr. Coderre, what did I miss? You should know what you missed because I posted it the day you weren't here. It's your job to check that. My answer to Mr. Coderre, what did I miss, is a lot. and that's it. I won't say anything else. Okay? You're responsible for what you missed. Now, if you come back after being gone for a couple days and say, Mr. Coderre, I watched the podcasts, I did, these reactions balancing, but I don't think I get it. I'm not getting them right. Can you help me out? Absolutely. That's my job. Okay? So you come in, you ask for help, and I'm happy to do that. Okay? That shows I did my job as a student. I watched your stuff. I tried it. I didn't get it. Now I need your help as the teacher. Now I do my job. Okay? So as long as you're doing your part, then there's no problems. Okay, any questions on that part? Okay, so classroom behavior, okay, biggest thing is respect, okay? Respect is important, okay, and we should be treating each other with respect. So if I see that that's not happening, that's something that's very upsetting to me, okay, and that behavior will be corrected. Okay. If you hear me say listen up, that means I need your full and undivided attention up front. Okay, it can be as simple as listen up, I need to get things started. It can be listen up, there's a mistake on question number 5. Listen up, there's a fire in the corner and we need to leave the room now. Okay, if I say listen up, I need your attention. Okay. Work assigned in class. I don't give make work stuff. Like I don't just give you a worksheet so I can go on social media and talk to my friends while you're working. I don't do that. Okay? If I give you work to do, it's to help you learn the material. Not all of it is going to be due for marks. Okay? Some of it is your lab reports, assignments, projects, those things will come in for marks. Okay? But if we're working on a worksheet from the workbook, I never take anything from the workbook in for marks for 2 reasons. The answers are in the workbook. Okay, so it doesn't really do me much good to assess any of that. Okay, and secondly, that stuff is there to help you practice. Okay, it's there to help me figure out maybe where you're having trouble or where you're not having trouble, so I know whether I can move on or not. Okay, so I'm not always going to take in the stuff that we work on that's just practice. Okay, but I will take in some things. You need to make sure you're getting it all done. Okay, so if if we're working on a sheet in class and you don't finish it, it's probably a good idea to try and finish as much of it as you can at home. Okay, even if it's not coming in for marks. Okay, so you're responsible for your own academic success. If you're not completing your work, okay, then your mark will suffer, and then I'll become alerted, and then I usually talk to you first. I give you a chance to correct it. Okay, I'll usually ask you to come in and schedule help or at lunch to get things done. If that doesn't work, then I have to call mom and dad, and they're not going to want that phone call. Okay, nobody likes getting the phone call that says little Johnny's way behind on his work. Okay, and then I'll say to them, I'd like them to come in, but they're not coming in. They're still not getting the work done. I want to help them, and they go, okay, that's great. I'll make sure they're there, and then you lose things like your keys to the car and your Xbox and all your fun stuff. Okay, so I don't want that for you. Okay, so I don't assign an unreasonable amount of work. Okay, you're probably going to hand something in each week, but it's not an unreasonable amount of work. I give class time for most things as well. Okay, so you shouldn't feel swamped unless you allow yourself to get that way. Okay, if you get behind, then you'll feel that way. Right? If you stay up on it, then it won't slow down. Okay? All right. In terms of your exams, okay, exams are worth a fair amount. Okay, and we'll talk about the distribution of marks here in a minute. But you should always be well prepared for them. I spend lots of time in class going over the major concepts. I'm available for help every day, scheduled help and lunch. I have no life, so you can come in and see me at lunch. Okay, I'll be here if you need help. So make sure you take advantage of that, especially before exams. Now, the other thing you need to know is there's no rewrites. Okay, those days are over. Right, this is the start of real life now. Okay, if you're not prepared for a test and you do poorly, that's on you. Okay, it's not going to be, there's no kind of second chances on those. Okay, brain surgeons don't get a second chance. Okay, they screw up on a surgery and somebody's getting a lobotomy. Okay, and that's not good. Okay, they don't get a do-over. Oh, I'll just put a new brain in there and try again. Okay, doesn't work that way. Right, and neither does this class. So make sure that you are ready for those. Now, if you do receive a mark of less than 50% on a test, and that's pretty rare. Okay, it doesn't happen very often. But if it does, then I usually bring you in and I go over things with you and make sure you understand and make sure that things get figured out. Okay? And at some point, I usually apply a small grade correction to that afterwards. Okay? All right, fairness versus equality. I'm always going to try to be fair to everyone, but that doesn't mean that I treat everybody equally because everybody's different. Everybody has a different situation. Okay? So I try to be fair rather than equal. Okay, I'll give you a case in point here. A number of years ago, I had a lab that was due, and this was back before Google Classroom. People were handing it in on paper. They brought it up to my desk, and everybody had sat it on my desk, and these two other people came up after, and the first person said, I don't have mine done, Mr. Coderre. I'm like, why not? I signed that 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I left it till last night. The season finale of my favorite show was on, and I watched it, and then I fell asleep and forgot, and it's not done. I'm like, thanks for being honest. I mean, you could have just lied to me and made up some sob story, but you didn't. That's fine, I'll still take it, but it's going to be late. You'll lose marks because it's late, but get it into me as soon as you can. The person behind him, she looked like she would have to get better to die. She looked awful. Like she would fall down at the slightest breeze, okay? Like just like bags under her eyes, green, sickly green color to her skin. She looked terrible, okay? And I'm like, are you okay? She's like, oh, I'm getting better. I don't have my lab done because last night my parents had this huge fight and they both stormed out of the house, and then I had to make dinner for my brothers and sisters, and I didn't cook it enough, and we all got sick, and we spent the whole night throwing up, and my assignment's not done. Now, I trust this person that they didn't lie to me because it's pretty hard to fake sickly green, okay? But I gave her an extension. I thought I was being fair in that situation. I didn't treat them equally. One person, it was entirely their fault, okay? The other person, I mean, don't leave it till the last minute. That's what happened to her. She did leave it till the last minute. Calamity knows when you've done that, and that's when it strikes. But okay, the other stuff was beyond her control. All right? So if you ever feel I haven't treated you fairly, you can call me. Okay, I'll do my best to do. Okay, and then accountability. That's a big one. Okay, like I said, high school is the start of real life, so due dates and timelines are part of your reality. You're going to need to develop some time management skills. I will help you with that. To that end, I never make something due the next day. Okay, the minimum turnaround time for you will be 2 school days for any assignment I assign. Most of the time, it's more than that. Okay? Most of the time, like 2 school days and a weekend, okay, or 3 school days or whatever. The minimum turnaround time would be 2 school days. Okay? We'll never ask for something the next day because that doesn't help you to learn how to manage your time. It puts you in a panic because you have to work tonight and you don't have time to do it for tomorrow. It's not good. Okay? So I'm not going to do that. Okay? Minimum turnaround time will be 2 days. All right? Okay, assessment and evaluation. Okay, so the first part of your assessment and evaluation is that I won't discuss your mark with you, whatever it is on a lab or a test or whatever. I'm not going to talk about that with you in class when everyone else is here. Okay, that's really awkward, right? It's also not professional of me to do that, okay, so I will not. If you have a question about your mark, come and see me after class, even if it's a matter of I added it wrong. Okay, please just come and see me after class about it, okay, and we can talk it over. I go over all of your assignments in detail, so there shouldn't be too much question about why you got a mark once I've gone over, but if there is, come and ask me, just do it at an appropriate time. Okay? Your marks will be distributed according to the syllabus. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay? Assignments and labs are to be handed in on time. Here's what on time means. That is the start of class on the due date. Okay, it's not the end of the school day, it's not midnight. I know some teachers do that, but I don't. Okay, it's the start of class on the due date. Okay, that's when things are due. Okay, late assignments can be handed in, but they will be penalized 30%. That's a flat rate. I don't do like 10% a day because then I have to keep track. I don't like that. Okay, it's 30% of it's late. 1 minute, 10 days, 2 months, it's late. There aren't different degrees of late. There's just late and on time. Okay, so it's 30%. Here's why. When you hand something in to me, you will always get it back the next day. Always. Okay? I have been teaching for 20 plus years. I have failed to get back an assignment the next day once in 20 years. It was the day my second son was born. I stand by my decision to not mark labs while my wife gave birth. Right decision. Stand by that decision. It was the right decision. I would have been in a lot of trouble had I been marking labs while she was giving birth. Okay, so just keep that in mind, guys. Your attention needs to be there when you're in that situation in your life. Okay, but yeah, that's the only time, and I had them back the day after that. So I will always give them back to you the next day. Okay, so I have a shorter turnaround than is expected of you. Okay, and we already talked about 4.4. All assignments and labs are due at the start of class on the due date. Okay, and like we said, we're going to be handing in everything through Google Classroom, so I know exactly when it comes in. Okay, and this semester, Google has unveiled their newest tool. It's called the Originality tool. It compares all assignments in a class for their originality. That means it gives me a percentage of how much of your report looks like somebody else's. Now, I kind of always had a feel for that before. You know, when you teach them long enough, you kind of get a feel for when you've read something before. Okay, but now there's an algorithm that will check it. Okay, so if I have any suspicion, I can check that. Please make sure you're doing your own work. Copying somebody else's work is not going to get you ahead. Okay, I had a huge problem with that last semester. I had a ton of people who were not doing their own work. And it really comes back to bite you on your unit exams when you can't copy somebody else's work. So I got somebody who's got this inflated grade, okay, soaring along like they know it all, and then they write their test and get 45. Okay, because they really didn't know any of it. They just copied it off of somebody else. Okay, it always comes out in the wash. Okay, so you don't want to be that guy. Learn it for yourself. Okay, so that you can do well for yourself. Okay, so the course syllabus here, guys, we have 4 units in Science 10. Okay, the first unit is energy and matter and chemical change. We call that chemistry. Okay, so we'll start out with chemistry. Okay, we'll go over like structure of the atom, how chemical substances meet human needs. We'll learn how to name ionic and molecular compounds, which you should know fairly well already, but we'll add in a couple of new rules. Okay, look at chemical change, chemical reactions, writing and balancing chemical equations, law of conservation of mass, and the mole concept. Okay, that will take us till around the middle of March. Okay, because we have that week off there in February, so middle to middle end of March. Okay, will be chemistry. Okay, and then after that we have Unit 2, which is the cycling of matter in living systems. We call that biology. Okay, so we'll be going over like the parts of the cell and how to use a microscope and looking at transport of materials in the cell, into and out of the cell, okay, in a multicellular organism. We'll look at specialization, okay, all that kind of stuff. That one will take us to shortly after Easter. I don't think we'll get it done before Easter because Easter's a little earlier. Okay. And then Unit 3, energy flow and technological systems, that's physics. Okay, in physics we go over all the tools of measurement, so we go over graphing and significant digits and things like that. Okay, we go over one-dimensional motion, how to calculate speed and velocity and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, we look at energy in systems, we look at conservation of energy, work energy theorem. Okay, it's a pretty big unit. Okay, that'll take us till very late May. And then the last unit, energy flow and global systems, is incredibly short. Okay, I have taught it in as few as 5 days. Okay, I like to have like 12 for it, but I can teach it in 5 if I need to. Okay, so it's very short. It'll be the last few weeks of school, okay, in June, and that'll be it. All right. Questions on what we're taking? Okay, the thing you've probably been waiting for. Okay, your marks distribution. Okay, you have 4 unit exams. Okay, they are worth combined 40% of your marks. So each unit exam is 10%. Okay, so make sure you're ready for those. Your labs, assignments, and projects, okay, your classwork, the things you're handing in to me in class, are 30% of your final grade. Your quizzes are 10%, and I'll talk about how those work here in a minute. Okay, and your final exam is 20%. Okay? All right, 4 quizzes. You're going to have a quiz Tuesdays and Thursdays in this class. It's very short. Okay, they're not quizzes that take up half the class, they're just short quizzes. Okay? What I will do is, I will either tell you what lesson or material the quiz is on, so you know what to study. Sometimes I will post questions that are like what will be on the quiz on Google Classroom. Okay? I used to just post the exact quiz, but I don't do that anymore because people are doing their own work. Okay, so I will post questions. So if we're going to have 2 questions on balancing chemical equations on a quiz, I'll put 2 questions that are about balancing chemical equations up for you to practice with, and the next day you'll get 2 different ones. Okay, but they'll be yours. So you'll always have some way to prepare for those quizzes. All right, so you'll get notification of those. I'll post it on Google Classroom Monday and Wednesday nights. Okay. Can you have food and drink in here? Yes, you can. Okay, that's fine. Just if you make a mess, I ask that you clean it up. Okay. If you want to listen to your music or whatever on your from your phone at some point during class, that's fine in certain situations. Okay, that is if we're working on a worksheet, doing some seat work or something like that, and you just kind of need to isolate yourself. That's fine. Okay, if I'm doing what I'm doing right now, that's not something. Okay. But I'll let you know, okay, but I am fine with that. Obviously, we already talked about I'm fine with your phone being out as well, okay? In my mind, your phone is a tool. I expect it to be used that way. If I find you're having difficulty with that, then I might, try and retask you, okay? Hopefully, I don't end up having to take your phone away. I can't remember the last time I've done that. Yes, I can. It was 2 years ago. I don't know how long before that, but okay, most of the time people are pretty good about using their phone in the proper way, okay? The nearest bathroom are right out here. The girls' bathroom is right there. The boys' bathroom is just down the hall. Okay, there's a water fountain just down from the boys' bathroom if you're needing any of those facilities. Fire exits. Closest primary fire exit is out through the languages wing. Okay, so we would turn left out my door, head towards those stairs that go up, okay, but not take them and head out through those doors to the back parking lot. That's our primary exit. Our secondary exit is actually the front entrance. Okay, so if that exit were blocked, we would be going out the front entrance as our secondary exit. Our tertiary exit is actually out the end of the science wing. Okay, that would be where we go if the other 2 were blocked. If all 3 of those are blocked, that window is very big, desks are very heavy. Okay, all right. Questions for you guys? Anything I haven't covered that you can think of that you're burning questions? Okay, perfect. So hang on to that, and we'll get started here.